Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. Our speakers represent different parties, but they have one thing in common. They are all Bengalurians. I want to provide some context to the conversation we will have over the next 40 minutes. For all the success our city has achieved in terms of being highly ranked for its IT and startup ecosystem, for having some of the best research and educational institutions, and for being home to a vigilant citizenry that unites for civic causes, I think it's a pity that we still discuss basic problems of bad infrastructure, administrative inefficiency, and lack of political will. So I hope all of us on this panel hope that we will have a forward-looking discussion. For the opening remarks, I must start with a reference to the upcoming assembly election. All parties are working on their manifestos. Dr. Ashwath Narayan, I want to start with you. Out of 28 constituencies in Bangalore, BJP has an advantage. You have 15 MLAs against 11 of the Congress. What can citizens expect from the BJP's manifesto, sir, in terms of a long-term solution for the city's problems? First remarks.
Good afternoon to all the participants, delegates, dignitaries, citizens, and all the experts from various domains who have come together for today's program, DH Bengaluru 2040. Since Bengaluru is growing in a very fast pace, now entire country is looking up to Bengaluru. Bengaluru has been positioned as #1 in the entire country and 24th position in the entire world. Probably we have a lot of responsibility, a lot of challenges, which we need to respond, scale up, and do many things to sustain and to take it forward to become a very progressive, livable city. Probably in this direction, many things we need to, already many good things are happening. With regard to already the discussion started with regard to the public transportation system, sustainability, green transport, green mobility, reimagining. So probably in this direction, the public transportation system has been given the topmost priority. Even the technology is evolving in this direction when it comes to the alternative fuels and all the other renewable net zero solutions been provided. Probably with regard to the public transportation, already my BMRCL MD mentioned about how we are planning to scale it up now at present from 55 kilometers to 175 by 2025, and by 2030, 375 kilometers, and with regard to the suburban railway, covering from various catchment areas, and even with, along with this, we are planning many layers. We have inner ring road, outer ring road, now the peripheral ring road, half it is complete, the remaining half needs to be built, and the STR road starting from Dabaspete, covering the entire surrounding of the Bangalore. We are going to have the STR road, and along with that, the connecting roads to the peripheral ring road, and as well as the elevated roads, outskirts of the city, and as well as the interlinking. So the public transportation system has been given the topmost priority. The way we work and do things also has been changing. Probably the post-COVID, it's going to completely change. How the cities are going to grow also is something very interesting. We need to look into these aspects. How the bigger cities are going to continue to grow in what direction, because even now the cities are also going to go to the smallest towns, smallest villages also. Now things can be done from anywhere. That's the way the things have been happening. Probably all these things have to be kept in mind. And very important is we need to have a right kind of planning. How the city has to be built, all of us need to deliberate more and more. What kind of density should be there? The city should be compact. Or the per square kilometer, the population at present, it holds good, or we need to increase or decrease. The planning matters also a lot. Probably keeping in that mind, the private vehicles, the public transportation, the complexity, all these things, the planning in this direction, a lot of depth and discussions need to happen.
Right.
Along with this, we need to capture all the details. You probably, many of the time, we have not captured many of the data in a right way. If you capture the data based on that, a lot of planning can be done very easily. That is where many of the things have been missing. With regard to let it be the kind of rains, or the water being, the rainfall, or the carrying capacity, or many other aspects. Many aspects are there which we need to look into it, and as well as the housing part, the healthcare, education, safety, security, employment,
Right.
and what kind of numbers are we looking for, where we want to really take the economy, we want to really scale up the economy, and we want to still grow. All these things comes within a policy, how the city has to be built. It has to be determined by all of us as a government, as a society, as people, what we look for. So in this direction, already we have taken up many issues with regard to the providing the right kind of healthcare system in the city of Bangalore. All the wards we have in a primary health center now. In addition to that, we have come out with a Nama Clinico. And along with this, the schools have been scaled up. We are ensuring that the school system has been promoted in a right way. The housing in the Bengaluru and public transportation. Many other things. We are working on the infrastructure,
Right.
also public transportation with regard to the scaling up of metro, suburban, and public transportation, BMTC, and the infrastructure.
We'll
So
hear,
with all these things, we have been very progressively been working and we have been promoting.
we'll hear more from you, Dr. Narayan. I want to go to Ms. Sowmya. Your party has invited suggestions for the manifesto. The Congress Manifesto Committee headed by Dr. Parmeshwar announced this. As a member of the Congress and an activist, what do you think your party's manifesto should talk about when it comes to Bangalore?
So first of all, I would really like to thank Deccan, Herald and Prajavani. It's my privilege and honor to be a part of this much needed discussion. Of course, to be a part of this panel with, of course, the Honorable Minister and, of course, Bhaskar. Thank you so much, Bharat. And, of course, I see, all the experts, the who's and who of the entire city and be activists. And I just want to say that from being one of the most livable cities, one of the best cities in the world, we've actually, according to Global Livability Index, we've become one of the worst cities, unfortunately. As a true blue Bangalorean, like you said, all of them are Bangaloreans. And as a true blue Bangalorean myself, I very proudly say I'm a millennial as well. And being a first-time MLA, I grew up studying, walking, and of course, but in the past about 10 to 15 years, from being a pensioner's paradise, being a garden city, and of course, it's thanks to the Congress government under the UPA that's actually made the city as a Silicon Valley to be the IT, BT city. But unfortunately, right now, we've become the garbage city, we've become the pothole city, we've become a flood city, and so on. But of course, I also you mentioned about the manifesto process. We, as the Congress party, we strongly believe in people's participation. We believe in genuinely taking people's inputs. So we've actually started the entire manifesto process. We did this during the Lok Sabha elections as well. We did this across the country, and we had one of the best manifestos, taking into account each and everything. And that's what we are planning to do as well, be it physical infrastructure, that is, of course, the most important thing, be it the roads. Traffic is, of course, one of the most things that all of us are troubled with. And that goes without saying, it's not just roads, it's not just flyovers, but it's also about having good quality of living, which is one of the most important things. So that includes garbage. That includes having a good, probably, park, having proper I don't know, includes even noise pollution. So we've actually had an entire set of parameters ranging from not just infrastructure, climate change, water, sanitation, solid waste management, including animals in our constituency, which we are very, very excited to be sharing more about in the next couple of days. And we want the Hon'ble Bengaluru back.
We go to the Aadmi party now, the new kid on the block. Mr. Rao, your vice president, and can we also say potential Baswangudi candidate? But tell us, will the Delhi model, how relevant is the Delhi model for Bangalore?
Elrigo namaskara. It's a great delight to be on such a prestigious stage with the Honorable Minister, Shri Ashwath Narayan, and Sowmya Reddy, the MLA, and with Bharat Joshi. Very thankful to the House of Natkalapa, Shri Tilak Kumar, and the entire family, and very thankful to Shri Shankaran for giving me this opportunity to express on behalf of my party. At the outset, when we think of urban improvement or city improvement, we have two great models in the whole world which we can emulate or look up for inspiration. One is the Lee Kuan Yew model of how Singapore was transformed from a marshy city to a vibrant international city, and the way Rashid Al Maktoum, who transformed a sandy desert into a vibrant city. There is no shortage of resources, as it has been repeatedly said since morning. Everybody has been batting for different kinds of changes in infrastructure. Since this is a political stage, I would like to say that within the ambit of the Constitution, it is possible to bring about change in the political infrastructure of governing Bangalore. That is the great need of the hour. What has brought us till here cannot take us further. We need rapid changes here. The mayor of the city ought to be an important person, not someone who is jostled around by MLAs and has to go to Vidhan Soda begging for money to run Bangalore city. If the mayor of United States can run for, if the mayor of Washington or New York can run for the presidency of the United States over there, similarly, the act should be brought about to separate Bangalore from its overbearing control and made governance possible right from the city itself, who is answerable directly to the people who contribute a huge chunk of GST and resources, not only to the state, but also to the country as such over there. This is possible because the Constitution has already made provisions under decentralization. I propose to say that a climate of good governance has to be brought about. Having come from a police department background, I would say that whenever governance takes a beating, a lot of extra constitutional forces start ruling on behalf of governance. And these people, if in power, call themselves vested interest to change policies, or on the ground they become mafias and start dictating terms and harassing people over there. If there is a strong government at the state level and gives independence to a city like Bangalore, all the ideas which are being discussed since morning can fruitfully take its place, because a strong governmental structure within the city can give that kind of space and independence and opportunity for all the business leaders, industrialists, and others to come out and give their best over here. At the outset, I would put three important points. One is governance, which I've already told. The second is decentralization. The second is decentralization, and third is urban management. We have already spoken in great detail about this, and what I'm saying is well within the Constitution to be a part of this. So only when there is a directly elected mayor, and the mayor and his council of standing committee as well as the city aldermen have the freedom, then only Bangalore can become a important, vibrant city. We don't lack anything all over the world. We can outbid New York, Chicago, Washington, Singapore, and Dubai. That kind of infrastructure and learning already exists. Just the way when Kiran Mazumdar Shah outlined about the sudden growth, about the growth over the last 50 years, and the Honorable CM with a very grand vision he has outlined. He has got all the great ideas, but he needs a lot of support from various quarters, including the opposition also. Today, if we have to run the city, we cannot run it only as a ruling government over there. We need the support of the opposition also. We need the support of the industry also. As a person who has been part of running Bangalore city, I feel that we used to be running it only as in silos over there. Police commissioner, transport commissioner, BMRCL, BMTC, etc., etc. So we need at bureaucratic level also to have an additional chief secretary level officer solely running Bangalore city. I remember when we were all young officers, we were told that when you worked in Calcutta police, you went on a deputation from the West Bengal police to the Calcutta police over there. Because Calcutta police was being administered independently out of the West Bengal police. So at bureaucratic level also, we need a separate chief secretary, not only to be burdened by the chief secretary to run Bangalore. All of them should be accountable to this particular officer who will be able to bring about some kind of a data sharing and information sharing, policy sharing, etc.
Mr. Rao, you've given me a bridge to discuss the next segment, which is about governance.
Yes.
Which is about governance.
I will take one more statement and to say that if we bring it down to the lower level over there to leverage. Now, when houses can go vertical, we can have that. As transport commissioner, I had proposed an idea which was trashed because I was too junior at the time and I was asked to keep my mouth shut over there. But today I feel that we can build multiple floors. The railway station is spread about 200 acres. Why can we not have one more floor over the railway station? There are 38 bus depots in Bangalore city. We can have one more floor over there. And when we see that BMRCL and BMTC, we have to walk long distances between them over there. Salim as well as Anjum spoke about intermobility over there. People should be able to walk as less as possible, but enjoy the walk also. So walking, cycling, and buses ought to be the order of the day. Only then Bangalore become a wonderful city. And as the Honorable CM said, we need satellite cities, not cities one after the other. As Commissioner of Police, I can feel that there are 8 to 9 cities inside Bangalore city. Apart from this, with border outside, Kanakpura, Magdi, Nelamangala, and Channapatna and Ramnagara can be built as cities. And beyond that, cities like Belgaum, Hubli Dharwad, Mysore city, Tumkur, Chitradurga can also be developed, because that is the kind of bubbling, extraordinary energy the whole of Karnataka is generating. And so much of energy is clashing with each other over here, and it is hampering actual development over here.
The Ramnagara minister is sitting right next to you.
He has been doing a wonderful work, he's been visiting. But he also needs support from a lot of infrastructure over there. A lot of policy changes and leadership changes, and political infrastructure needs to be changed. It is not enough only if industry and financial infrastructure has to be brought about. Similarly, when we've been speaking about urban governance, urban management, urban policies, and urban training, because more and more cities are going to become urban in the next 15 or 16 years.
Which is why I said, Mr. Rao, that you've touched an important point, which is governance. I think it's a big problem, has been a big problem in Bangalore. The presence of multiple agencies that do not coordinate is just one of the governance problems, I think. Some positive first steps have been taken, but before we get to that, Dr. Narayan, what is the point of talking about good governance without an elected council in the BBMP? Why is the BJP being accused of delaying the BBMP elections?
With regard to the elections to the BBMP, there was a long pending demand of the people of Bangalore also to come out with a separate legislation for the city of Bangalore. Probably in this direction, we came out with a separate legislation. Once we came out with a legislation, many people went to the court. They wanted the election to be conducted in the old act, under the Karnataka Municipality Act, the old act. So the contention was to do the election with the new act or the old act. So the matter was in the court. Then later on, with regard to reservations, regard to delimitations, many issues came up. So still the matter is in the court. It's a matter of time. Once it is decided, definitely we'll conduct election. So that doesn't mean the concerns of Bangalore. everything has been very well taken with regard to all the aspect, with regard to the water requirement, with regard to the public transportation system, with regard to the healthcare, education, housing, all possible area. The waste management also, we have come out with a new, new kind of system where it is going to be really very effective. It is going to deal with all the challenges whatever Bangalore is facing at present. So the challenges whatever we are facing, and with regard to it was in a demand of the Bengaluru for a new bill which has been implemented, responded by the government.
We will talk about the new act, but I sense Sowmya wants to comment.
Absolutely. Sir, I think it's, we all are legislators. We're supposed to legislate. But as a representative in Bangalore, as an MLA, in the past 2 years, 4 months, there is no council. I mean, it is beyond 6 months. I mean, the administrator is not supposed to be there. In the sense, it's against democracy where there is no council, there is no corporators. How long does it take? I mean, I'm sorry to say, we disagree. My party disagrees. I think it's against democracy that there are no corporators. There are no, I mean, why am I? Where people come and tell me the issues of garbage, people come and tell me issues of sanitation.
Yeah, very muchly your party supported the legislation, the new legislation.
We supported the legislation, but
it was supported by your party also.
It doesn't take 2 years, 3 months to conduct elections. I'm sorry to say that. I mean, it's undemocratic. It's illegal not to have elections. I think it's be it an MP, be it an MLA, be it a corporator, there are elections supposed to be there every 5 years, period. There are no two questions about it. When we can have an anti-conversions bill, why can't we have delimitation in the entire process within a month or two? When we cannot manage 198 wards, 243 wards and the entire reservation, and which was absolutely unscientific.
Miss Sowmya, tell me. Miss Sowmya, tell me, didn't someone from your party go to court, which resulted in the delay?
Sorry?
Someone from your party went to court, which resulted in the delay.
I'm talking on behalf of my party. If somebody who was a corporator previously goes, I'm sorry, I cannot.
You have gone to the court, no?
I've gone to court because the delimitation process is extremely unscientific.
Before the
I'm sorry,
legislation,
when you do delimitation, in my point of view, it's supposed to ease governance. It's not supposed to do gerrymandering to support one political party. I am all for women's reservation. But then my entire constituency has only women. All the men are coming and telling me, you don't want us to continue. That's why I had to go to court. I'm sorry to say that. No. You people did not consult us. I'm an elected representative as well. People should be consulted. Experts should be consulted. MLA should be consulted. Nothing happened. It happened in the kacheri of RSS and my honorable MP, and I'm sure in your own office as well.
I want to bring in
the
Aam Aadmi Party. No, do you want to respond, Dr. Narayan?
Can we have elections tomorrow? I'm ready for it.
Sowmya is...
Are you sure? Because a lot of your MLAs don't want the election.
Just a minute. Sir. Sowmya is completely misleading. See, from the very beginning...
Sir,
let me complete. You have made your statement.
Sowmya, let him...
You have made your statement, Sowmya.
You are a speaker today.
Before when we could come out with a new legislation, the people who went to the court is from the Congress party. They didn't wanted the new legislation, the new bill. They went against it. Just one side your people are going to the court, other side you are supporting the bill in the floor of the house. And later on, with regard to, very well, the Bengaluru is taken as in one unit. Bangalore is taken as in not the constituency will be not taken as in one unit. As per the regulation of the election commission, Bengaluru will be taken as one unit. You don't make this kind of statement where the reservation meant being in a responsible elected representative.
That I'm
if you
representing my people. I
then you
had to
need
speak
prove,
for them.
You need to prove then.
I have
You
gone
can't
to
make
court,
this kind
which is why
of
the court
sweeping
has
statements. You
has
can't make
actually
this
been
kind of
on my favor,
statements.
saying
Even
that.
you people have been in power.
So your
How you have
own
done, what
party
you have done,
MLAs,
you want
your
me
own
to-
party MLAs have
You,
told me
as in a
openly.
representative, how your people
I
have
will
dealt,
be happy to
what you
share
have done in the
everybody
city
who
of
doesn't
Bangalore,
own elections.
with regard to all the aspects. You people have completely failed. You have let down the entire city.
Oh really? I thought the
Dr.
High Court
let
is,
down the entire city.
High Court has
Dr.
been telling
Narayan,
your
Dr.
government,
Narayan,
not mine,
Miss
about
Sowmya,
potholes.
Dr.
It's
Narayan,
your
Miss
government
Sowmya,
that's failed, sir,
Miss
not
Sowmya,
ours.
Miss Sowmya, Dr. Narayan, both of you have made your points. I have to bring in the Aam Aadmi Party now because a lot of us,
He's like the speaker.
there's a, no. A lot of us want to know from the Aam Aadmi Party. Sir, we are talking about elections. The big question is, whose votes will Aam Aadmi Party snatch? BJP's or Congress's?
All those who love Bangalore and all those who don't vote will now start voting, because we propose to get good people to be a part of governance over there. And instead of restricting ourselves to conferences or to Twitter or to Facebook, I would urge all of you to come out and vote, because Bangalore witnesses only 50 or 55%, and sir, 50, 55%, 60% vote. Much lesser over there. So I would urge citizens to come out and vote if you want a neat and good Bangalore. So that is a great need of the hour, because you know who the Prime Minister is, who the Chief Minister is there, but we don't know who our mayor is over here. Because it is an urgent concern that we become more alive, because this is where we are concerned with our day-to-day governance over there. Our day-to-day solutions lie with the people.
Right.
And
Right.
what both honorable members were been speaking was about the postponement of the elections. All of us are genuinely concerned. COVID also took its responsibility, then the delimitation, etc., and the reservations, etc. Now I'm sure we'll put that into a place over there to see that the elections are held as soon, because we are going to have a festival of elections starting from 4 or 5 months later on, the MLA elections, the TP, ZP elections, and then finally to the Lok Sabha elections. Up to
Sir, I just have one question.
local body elections. All are going to take place
Okay.
one after the other.
The Congress member has a question for you.
Sir, actually, we're talking about having an independent mayor, which is really going to help earlier. I completely agree. But what about having an independent chief minister?
Oh, come on, Sowmya.
No, because I completely, because I've lived in Delhi, I've lived in New York, but in fact, I really have to credit Mrs. Srila Dixit for all the development. But, unfortunately, I have asthma as well. I'm an environmental engineer. I was there when it was completely covered by smog. Then the chief minister actually said, I will solve when I come to Delhi. And then he said, it's because of Punjab. I will solve when I go to when we get Punjab. But when we go to Punjab, it was like, oh no, it is a union government's problem.
But madam, I'm sure if you have stayed in other countries, you would have seen how independent the city bodies. I'm sure you are
Sir,
on agreement
absolutely.
with
I
me
completely
that
agree.
the city
But
bodies,
what I'm saying
the
is,
city bodies administration should be delinked. The mayor of Bangalore city should not be begging inside Vidhan Soda for funds. He should be
but
a
I'm
powerful
asking,
person
why is...
and should be
I
given a longer
completely
tenure.
agree with
So
you.
that is why
Soumya.
I'm batting for.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
Miss
I'm
Sowmya,
batting
I
for an
think
independent- for
I
a longer
I'm not
tenure.
disagreeing.
I agree with the demand for a directly elected mayor. To Ms. Sowmya's comment, I think we should first try to get the independently directly elected mayor. That's the low-hanging fruit, and then we can.
That is what we have
talk
also been
about-
saying,
yes.
that we should have a independent
Yes.
Bangalore governance over there, and an office of the level of chief secretary could be the one who can coordinate all of them. Because when we saw the earlier speakers, the MD of BMRCL and the city traffic commissioner saying that we are not even aware of each other's statistics over there.
That's where I'm
one
coming
such
to
thing,
now.
They can
That's-
integrate all of this because they're all working in absolute silos.
That's where
How
I'm coming
they-
to now, Mr. Rao. I spoke of some good first steps that have been taken. BBMP Act was a good first step. At least we have a separate law for Bangalore. I want to talk about the BMLTA. which is something that has been mentioned in all the previous sessions so far. Dr. Narayan, can the BMLTA truly address the problem of bringing everybody under the same roof, and is it confined only to transportation?
Basically, when it comes to the infrastructure, regarding the mobility, transportation, aligning of all the bodies are very important. Probably in this direction, sharing of data and coming out within a common plan when it comes to the mobility, it's very important. Definitely, it can be a huge solution. Probably many times, many designs, many development, whatever is been done by each individual agencies will be against each other. Probably this coordination can bring in a lot of synergy and alignment. It can take it forward. So with regard to the BBMP powers, definitely direct or indirect. See, we are in a parliamentary system. We have an indirect election system also. But ultimately, we need to give more and more power to the local bodies so that they get more responsibility. Along with the more responsibility, they need to get more power. So that's a way forward. Definitely, I completely agree. Even our party, we are for the decentralization of the power when it comes to the local body. And with regard to the direct or indirect, the system, the parliamentary, our system is indirect elections. So,
Sir, is
direct or indirect, the power should be given. The
Power
most
should be
important,
given.
the decentralization of power should happen. And more and more, with more than the elected body, the more powers will be with the officers. So that is also important.
final comment from Ms. Sowmya before we move on to the next segment?
So I actually have to thank you for passing the BMLTA Act, because many of us have actually been talking about it. And, probably, in every other session, and a lot of the civil society has also been talking about it. But it's not enough. And it's also problematic because we also need to talk about the active mobility bill as well. And also we need to talk about why it's not inclusive. Why is it top down? And at the end of the day, if it's not inclusive, and why is that it has to directly report, to one person instead of the entire state government? I think that at the end of the day, if it's not really implemented on the ground, and we need to empower the bill and the act, and we need to walk the walk.
We're getting towards the end now, and I must talk about infrastructure, because that is one area where the city has seen knee-jerk reactions. Only when there's flooding do we remember stormwater drain encroachments. Only when somebody dies on the road do we wake up to potholes. So instead of these knee-jerk reactions, I want to start with Ms. Sowmya on this. I want to invoke the activist in you. Successive governments have preferred infrastructure solutions such as flyovers, for example, when it comes to decongesting the city. When the Congress was in power, the steel flyover became a big issue. But do flyovers become inevitable, or can we look beyond flyovers? What is your take?
Thanks so much, Bharat, for actually bringing up the steel flyover issue, because I remember the entire steel flyover campaign. I see so many people over here in the audience as well. I'm actually very proud to say that, at the end of the day, it needs to be, what is a true democracy? A true democracy is a democracy that listens to people. When people don't want it and they protest, our CM, then CM Mr. Siddaramaiah, took it back because he said, no, the people didn't want it. But then now, you can see what's happening. There is no consultation whatsoever, and even when people are protesting, it is going on and on and on. So, unfortunately, that is something that is really missing right now. And I feel that's why the civil society is upset.
Dr. Narayan, your government has given Bengaluru about 8,000 crore. But the question is, how can we ensure quality when it comes to expenditure? Isn't that a challenge?
Definitely not. When it comes to the execution of any work, definitely it's in the public domain. Anybody is free. See, now it has been scrutinized by each and every agency. Let it be judiciary, let it be third party, all possible agencies in all possible levels. it has been scrutinized, and it's been, going on. And definitely, when it comes to the quality of work, there will not be any compromise with regard to the quality of the work. So that is rest assured, and we have been working to ensure the quality of the job has been done properly. And topmost priority has been given to the infrastructure. When it comes to the, already I mentioned what all the things have been lined up, how we are planning to address the density of the vehicle or the congestion on the road, how best we can sort out and ensure that the Bengaluru public transportation system will be very effective. So definitely, there are a lot of scrutiny. If you go through executing, there are consultation, Sowmya was mentioning about the consultation. Now, in being in a democratic setup, without, there's not one or two forums, there are hundreds of forums where everything will be questioned. So nothing can go forward. There are many agencies, many things probably going through all this scrutiny and passing through, and finally the starting of project itself has become really challenging.
Mr. Rao, you're a cyclist. I'm sure you have strong views on how to fix the infrastructure in the city. Your quick take on this.
Mobility is very important, which was discussed earlier. And a city like Bangalore, a pedestrian policy, a mobility policy, and recently you must have seen that New York went on a free public transport policy over there. So unless and until all these vehicles are kept inside and public transport becomes the order of the day, Bangalore cannot breathe easy over there, in spite of all the electric vehicles that we are going to have over there. So first order is to see that a proper pedestrian policy is made over there and enforced over there, encouraged. Then the cycling policy, to see that cycle lanes are wide and cycle parking, etc. is also. Then a public transport policy and incentivizing public transport policy. And we had also seen how bus stations have to be at the four corners of the city. Even today we are seeing BMTC is still competing with Metro, when route number 11 competes with City Market to Banshankari. And Metro does the distance in about 6.5 minutes. Bus takes about 35 minutes to do that. So people are not talking to each other. That is the most important thing. They talk only in conferences over there. So apart from that, there has to be this, I am always batting for coordination, and Bangalore has to be governed, because Bangalore is become too big to be governed only at the Chief Minister level over there. And at present also, the Honorable CM is the one who is running Bangalore. There ought to be an independent minister, but of course it's too late and we are going for election. Bangalore should have an independent elected mayor and advised by a senior IAS officer, the rank of a chief
Since
secretary.
you brought it up, Mr. Rao, quickly, Dr. Narayan, why didn't you become the Bangalore City Development Minister?
If it is headed by Honorable Chief Minister, that's the best thing. Since you know very well, the more executive powers or the decision making always will be with the Honorable Chief Minister. So I think in the interest of Bangalore, whenever you can look up to, the more responsibility shifts to the head of the state, I think we can expect better things when the CM is willing to
how
take.
many times has
CM is willing to take
Ms.
the
Sowmya.
response, provided if the CM is willing to take this responsibility, it's in the interest of the city. If they are not willing to take, next, the option comes up. So the CM taking up the responsibility, it's not a simple thing. A lot of aspects are involved, many with regard to the power, Bhaskar, BMRCL, BMTC, BWSSP, BDA, BMRDA, and along with that, many other aspects. So definitely, it's good to be with the CM, but only thing is topmost priority should be given. We need to get more and more priority. Bangalore city needs topmost priority. There's no second thought about it. We need to get more and more. And along with this, when it comes to the, sir was mentioning about, definitely the public transportation system should be subsidized, if not free, it should be subsidized. Minimum 50% subsidization should happen. I'm talking this as a citizen of Bangalore, not as a minister now.
Right.
Minimum 50%.
He has clarified.
To be very frank, see, as a citizen, we need to ensure if the public transportation needs to be attractive, if people want to look up to public transportation system, definitely across the world, see, you can't expect the route to be widened are a lot of challenges when it comes to the utilization and congestion being very strongly need to be addressed. And pedestrian is very important. Pedestrian footpaths has become free for all. So many rights, many owners. For each footpath, there are many owners. Many owners, many concerns. One people talking for one person, other people speaking for other person. So footpath needs to be encroachment free, definitely. For public transportation access also, not only for walkable footpath, the pedestrian footpath needs to be free of all the hawkers, sellers. From all possible encroachment, the footpath should be free, and I think that can lead to, and public transportation across the world, many countries have taken up public transportation, been subsidized. Definitely, that I'll bat for it, and I'll continue to bat for the public transportation
Dr. Narayan,
system.
Ms. Sowmya, Mr. Rao, I must wrap up now, but can we end on a positive note? I have one question commonly for all three of you. Quickly, in a minute, what in your view is working well in Bangalore? Ms. Sowmya.
I want to respond to.
We must really wrap
No,
up.
no, because as an MLA, first-time MLA in Bangalore, who got into this with full optimism, I don't know whom to approach. Because there's no Bangalore Development Minister. And so how many times has the Honorable Chief Minister called for a meeting of all the Bangalore MLAs? There are no corporators. And like you said, yes, of course, the
You could have
footpaths.
taken in the floor of the house. How many times you have taken?
I have.
Why have you not
If
taken?
you're present there, you would have seen it.
I have been also part of the floor of the house.
You can check the number of
How many
questions.
times are you people have been
You can
speaking?
check the number of times I've
welcome.
asked.
I want people to attack. There's nothing wrong. Working for the people
We
of
always
Bangalore.
do. You can check.
No.
So if you come to this one, then you would have seen.
We are for
So are you saying that you're a Bangalore Development Minister then?
I'm first for Bangalore than anything.
So no. The point is also you spoke about encroachments and everything. But the issue is, according to the Street Vendors Act, there has to be a hawking zone, which is supposed to be done by BBMP. Where is BBMP? There is no BBMP since 2.5 years. And I can
For
go
you to have
on
all
and
these things, where are the places? How many
Ms.
places are
Sowmya,
planned cities?
Dr. Narayan, we discussed the BBMP election and the delay. We really must wrap up. Mr. Rao, what is working well in Bangalore?
ನನ್ನೇ ಕೇಳಲಿಲ್ವಲ್ಲ ನೀವು?
ಬರ್ತೀನಿ, next ಬರ್ತೀನಿ.
sorry, I didn't
People
hear
of Bangalore are working very well. That's all I can say. People of Bangalore are working very well. And extremely aspirational, hardworking, and everybody buys only a one-way ticket to Bangalore. There is no return ticket. And as Commissioner of Police, I have seen that all the states of India have an association, and some states have got more than 2 associations and caste
Right.
associations.
Dr.
also.
Narayan, quickly. What you wanted to say that? You can still say that.
Yes, definitely people of Bangalore are the real strength of the country and the city. They are making the difference. That is the strength of Bengaluru. So the full marks I want to give to the people of
Full
Bangalore.
marks to the people of Bangalore. Ms. Sowmya.
I completely agree. The people of Bangalore, irrespective of if you're born here or if you have come here in the past like 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, I think we very proud to say that we are Bangaloreans. I think that's what's probably the only thing that's working right now.
Wasn't that a positive note? We got them to agree.
So
on something.
I have another.
We must wrap up. Thank you so much for your time. I hope all of you enjoyed this session.